And we are back. Gmac Winnie coming at you with another edition of the Outlaw Blitz interview podcast. Big fella, let's get dangerous.
Dangerous we will get. Wild Thing is in the house. Joe Base Quirk from the Saugerties Stallions. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, guys. Pleasure to be here, man.
The funny part is I never knew his first name was Joe. Like Kramer was just always Base.
That's right. That's what everybody knows. People used to call my parents' house. Oh, is Base there?
Yeah.
What's the origins? And
Dated back when I was in 8th grade modified basketball, and John Nacarado said I made simple, basic shots. So it was actually basic for about 5 years, and then when the 80s rap came out with Rob Bass and all that stuff, we said let's go with Bass. So
that's a cool nickname.
And it has stuck all these years.
All these years, man, since 1982.
Damn.
Wow. So you graduated from Saugerties then?
Yes.
What year?
85.
85. So you're just behind my younger my two sisters.
Yeah.
Did you play? What sports did you play?
I played football. In high school, I always did everything. Little League, Baby Ruth, did all that stuff. Youth Football League. Then in high school, I did football and then ran track.
Oh, nice. Football and track, and now here you are, a baseball guy. And you never see him without a Yankee hat or now a Stallion hat.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you're Angels. You haven't changed in the 30-plus years I've known
Stop. Come on.
you. haven't aged a bit.
It's the hat. It keeps as long as this is good, the hat's good.
That's right.
So after Saugerties, where did you go to college? Did you go away to college? Did you go local or no college?
I tried Ulster. That wasn't me. Man.
School wasn't
I
you.
should have did the service. Biggest regret in my life not going to the Marine Corps like my father was, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. So after high school, you just start into the workforce?
Started into the workforce. Bounced around for a little bit. I worked for Everett Beverage in 1990 to 94 when he went out. And then I bounced around for a little bit doing jobs. I got a job working at a bar, Slopes nightclub up in Hunter Mountain, New York. And from there, I met this guy, Mike Wenzel, who hooked me up into the Ironworkers Union in New York City. And I've been there ever since. Like 2000, I got a job there.
Oh, nice. Slopes, you must know Big Gay Sal.
I do know Sal.
Everybody knows Big Gay Sal.
We have a love fest, me and him, that guy.
Oh, boy. So, iron workers at his city.
Yeah.
What's your commute like daily?
2 hours down, 2 hours back, man.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, in like 08 or 09, was it where you laid off a lot? Because I know there was like a lull there. Like I have friends that were in sheet metal workers union.
No, it's actually not too late. Like this past year was really a down low. Ever since COVID, things got a little weird down in New York City working, but it's starting to pick back up again. So
yeah, and then you'll have retirement here shortly. I'm sure you got enough credits.
Hopefully 3 years tops.
Oh, nice. All right, so you graduate high school, you go into the workforce. Now, where I pick up knowing you is the Saugerties Babe Ruth League. Your family ran every aspect of that league from what year? Around what year?
I started there in 1989, man.
And so that was my 13-year-old season.
Yeah. Angels, right?
No, I was a Red Sox.
Oh, that's right, Red Sox.
Red Sox. Arnie Spatafore.
I remember delivering papers to your house when I was filling in on Jay Bruno's paper out. So I knew your mom from dropping stuff off, and then you went to field.
Yeah.
And you're a fixture. You are a town fixture there.
I love the Babe Ruth. That was, back in the heyday. I mean, now it's nowhere near what it can be. But back then, in the days like when you played, nothing better.
No, we had the Mid Atlantic tournament with the year I was there. So there was two of them. One with Hayjack, and then one when I was 15. So.
Yeah. Then we hosted another one in 2009, I think it was too.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Is that where the bigger grandstands came on the first base side?
It was before that.
Around there. Yeah. Yeah, that field back there, you guys had...
Like you mentioned in your thing the other day, fried dough Fridays, there was nothing better than fried dough
There
Fridays.
wasn't. People would come to the field just for their fried dough.
Yes.
And everybody loved it. It was awesome.
My father would pick up the dough from Pesch's Bakery.
Yep.
And then started at 3 o'clock, molding it and all that stuff. And started crazy from there. Yeah.
No, the show last week, we talked about the field. We live there.
Yeah.
That's where you were.
They had the best hot dog sauce. Mrs. Lorenz made the hot dog sauce there, and that stuff was clutch, man. That was Unbelievable.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, many great experiences up at the Babe Ruth field. Like Highland loved that field. I mean, I just say,
The cast of characters that we had as managers and Babe Ruth at the time.
oh my God, yeah.
We had Bonnie and Arnie, my dad. Shoot, who else was up there? You were coaching with the Yankees, right?
Yankees, yep.
Yeah, the Cullens and Guido with the Cardinals.
That's right.
Yeah, it was wild. Like the push.
Yeah, so many legends up there.
Yeah, it was a good time. You're right. That was like the hot era for baseball in this town.
Huge era.
Yeah. One time, I'm still part of it, so it's been like 35 years, whatever.
Yeah,
doing that. But one time we had the 13-0 league. We had 4 teams. In the 14 and 15-0 teams, we had 6 teams.
Mm-hmm.
And I had 6 teams in the senior league.
Right, I remember that.
Yep.
That had to be around 92?
Yeah.
Around that time?
90s, yeah.
Yeah.
And there was enough kids that we played a summer league.
We always have summer league too.
Yep,
yes.
that was fun too.
Yeah. John Joy was a big
stuff. He was big with that stuff. Yeah, and then eventually, I mean, like baseball in general, numbers are down in baseball across the board, whether it be Little League, Babe Ruth, I think even probably Legion Ball, like you used to have separate legions. Now they all play on one. Do you think travel baseball hurts regular baseball leagues?
I don't.
You don't?
I don't.
Do you
really?
Do you think sports that are now going year round that never did hurt baseball?
Yes. Yeah.
We've talked about
focusing on just one sport. You know, you got basketball players who think they're going to be basketball players. You know, focusing just on basketball and stuff like that. So.
Right, you're 5'6", and you were thinking you're going to be a basketball player.
Yeah,
it's not happening.
The day of the well-rounded athlete is almost by the wayside. They're picking it up so early in 7th and 8th, well, before 7th and 8th grade, 5th and 6th grade, and they're focusing on that sport, and they're just staying with it.
Yeah.
But what's funny is if you talk to college coaches, they prefer kids that play multiple sports.
Yes.
You're not burning out. You know what I mean? Like, I saw an interview one time. It was Curtis Granderson said, "These kids today are playing more travel games than I get paid to play. That makes no sense to me."
It is crazy. Yes.
You know,
definitely is.
But I mean,
Little League now, there's kids playing travel baseball. Say like they had a Little League game last night.
Right.
Today and then tomorrow they're playing travel baseball.
Yeah. Right. And now if you're a pitcher, how do you manage that? There's pitch counts, but you don't count the 80 pitches you threw in a Little League game. Now you're throwing 80 more in the kid's arm's a thread.
Kids having Tommy John in 11th grade.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's tough. So you get through all that, you go Babe Ruth, and now high school, now collegiate league, right? So now we just say year-round stuff, but summer collegiate baseball is huge, right? Because this is where maybe if you're a freshman, you don't get a lot of time, you come to these teams.
Yes. Yep.
Right. Or whatever. You just, you're expanding your season because college baseball starts in the ice cold of February, right? And
really, I mean, when they go back to school in September, they're playing then. So September, October, into November a little bit. Really just off in December and January. Once they go back from Christmas break, they're picking up the baseball again.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a lot. But I understand at that level because you're in college and that's like your main focus.
Yep.
And possibly going into major leagues. But not for like a 10-year-old to go and do that stuff.
No, definitely not.
All right. So how did you get involved with the Stallions originally?
When Kevin took over, I really didn't know Kevin back then. And I knew who Kevin Hinchy was. And when I saw what he was doing, I liked what he was doing, how much he was into it and all that. Loved the baseball game. And I just told him one day, hey, if you need any help doing anything, I'll be glad to help out. Because I knew Babe Ruth was starting to go downhill.
Yeah.
And I couldn't put much time into that then. And having 2 girls coming up playing Little League, I couldn't put that much more time in that. So I figured whatever Kevin needed help in, Kevin took me on as whatever I wanted to do, he let me help him do. So
the first you were kind of in that first year. What was your job in the first year or two when you got in with him?
Just whatever, man.
Just whatever?
Yeah, help him out, do whatever, man. So.
All right. So then Kevin has a successful campaign. COVID kind of stops it. Then they come back. They win the championship. And then last year was kind of like his hurrah. He's kind of like ready to be done with it. What was the transition, or how did it transition to what it is now? Like, does Kevin still own the team? Or does the town kind of own the team? Or somebody just overseeing the team?
The town is overseeing the team.
So, how besides sponsors,
Kevin didn't want to sell. There's people that he was hoping to sell it to people in the community,
Right.
in Saugerties, but no one came up with it. There was some buyers, I guess, from outside the town, but he didn't want that. So
right? Because if I live in Catskill and I take it, I'm going to take it and put it in Catskill,
yeah,
and he wants to keep it here. So
exactly.
the town's overseeing it. Do you rely heavily on your sponsors for, the funding? Like how is it funded exactly, and what funding is needed?
The funding's with our side sponsors. I got to charge each kid money to play on this team. Also, the VIP seating,
Right.
then the concession stand, the money to get into the game. That's how it's all going to get funded.
Right. And then, so that all goes back in to cover whatever your baseballs, your umpire fees. Like, is that like a yearly thing, an umpire fee, or is that
Every
nightly?
Nightly thing, you got to pay an umpire. So
Yeah.
each umpire fee is $125 a game. So
I need
Yeah,
an
it's
umpire on the side.
yeah,
That's good money right there. So I know it's tough, right? Now you have concessions, right? So you went from just whatever you need help with, but now you're the guy. So now you got to plot out concessions, the beer tent, ticket sales, all these things. So how's that getting your feet wet doing that stuff?
I got a great board. I put together a great board, and they're helping me out do all this stuff. So
Who's on the board now?
my title is President General Manager. Chris Mayone is Vice President. I got Jeffrey Yahtzee as my treasurer. Greg Chorvis is a treasurer. Other board members are John and Jack Nacarado, Bob and Larry Circusano, Rob Vanderbeck, Mandy Norcross. I know I think if I laid off,
Yeah, but that is that is a good collection of Saugerties.
Michael Lisi, JP Grimalio. So
So you've got some good community staples involved.
without a doubt, yeah.
And a good leader knows how to delegate and be able to trust in the people that you delegate to. So you've got a great board that's taken some of that direct
all my
pressure
years'
off.
experience of with the Babe Ruth too, telling people what to do. I think I learned from that all my years there too. So
So now you have that part laid out. Okay, we're going to do this. We have this. Now, working with vendors, you just status quo, whatever was already set up, you're just continuing.
yeah, nothing is changing at all.
So it's literally nothing really technically changes except for Kevin's not the owner. Everything else is kind of moving.
Yeah.
Same vendors, the same people you go back for sponsors, the VIP seats, whatever.
VIP seats, yep. Everybody's still coming back for that. And got more signed sponsors. Chris Mayone did an unbelievable job for that. So
It's nice. So you have all these things set up. Now you got to go build a team. What's the process in that?
starting back in, I even started before the town officially took over. I started in September, reaching out to colleges. You just email, text, call up a college coach, see who they got available. So right now my roster's at 45 guys.
Wow.
45. And now, how many? Not all of them will come, obviously, right?
They're all coming.
Really?
Yeah.
So do you? Okay.
I mean, let's just say like 2 weeks ago, I was shitting my pants because I had this stud shortstop from Abilene Christian, Crew Parker, and decided he's not coming. His coach doesn't want to send him. But then I lost a first baseman from there also. So I lost a few kids, but then once I lost them, I call up somebody else and get him, replaced.
Right.
Now, the question I had before was, do you find yourself, are you competing with like the Cape League and other college leagues for these players? Or are you directing yourself towards certain colleges?
The Cape League, you can't compete with the Cape. That's just a whole different ball game. I mean, you compete with the Northwoods and all the other leagues and stuff like that, trying to get players. Yeah,
Gotcha.
the Northwoods is it's another good league like the Cape Cod League, but I don't know why any player would want to go there because the travel is involved there is unbelievable.
So far, like
so far,
between
yeah.
places.
I've had players that stay with me were saying, it was just brutal going out to that league.
Yeah. And then there's like the Appy League, right? That's another one, and they're pretty far apart.
Yeah. I got a kid coming in this year, Jack Lawrence. He's at Townsend. He was in the Alaskan League last year, so.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Come from Alaska to New York.
Yeah.
Same weather.
Yeah.
So when you build these up, 45 kids now, do you have like Is there different contracts? Like some of them are early to cover because people are in the College World Series or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, they show up when they can show up. You know, there's
Yeah.
some of these guys read their conference tournaments and stuff like that. So I got one pitcher coming from Georgia Southern. He's only going to be here for the first half. You know, he's pitched a bunch of innings already down south. So his coach doesn't want him to pitch that much. So he'll leave probably like July 4th, I would assume.
Right. That's got to be hard to manage that. Like, how do you manage that? Like, oh, well, I got these guys coming and those guys leaving.
It's tricky, yeah. You know, the players, the pitchers is the main thing. You know, trying to see, then have to go out and get more guys as the season's going on. So
now, in years past, I've seen kids that were Saugerties kids, born and bred, played here their whole lives, and then they come in town and they're a outlaw or Dutchman from Albany or Oneonta Outlaw, and I'm like, why would they not play here? Are you trying to get some of that local flavor back, or
I got the local flavor.
do you?
All right.
One from Marist, maybe?
I got let's just say I got Ethan Conrad, who's lighting it up this year at Marist. He's batting 310. I mean, he's been in an everyday lineup since the first game of the year.
Yep.
I got Ty Gallagher coming, Matt Murtaugh, Stephen Freer from Kingston. I got Evan Dieter from Kingston. I got Sean Duke from Rhinebeck. 2 kids from Newburgh.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, another kid from Wappinger Falls. So
Well, I always thought, you know what I mean? Like for Conrad, if Conrad went somewhere else, I mean, outside of the Cape League, he could literally walk from Elm Street to,
yes.
to
To the
Canton.
field. Yeah.
Right. And it'd be foolish to see him go play somewhere else, outside of going to the Cape League, which I'm sure he'll end up at some point.
I think so. Yeah, probably next year.
Yeah.
Wow.
So now you got your team kind of built. Where are you right now? Like, it's got to be getting crunch time because these kids come in the end of June?
End of June.
Or the first week of June, right?
May 29th report date.
Oh, boy. That's right. It's the end of May. You guys play a scrimmage every once in a while.
Yeah, we're not doing no scrimmage, but June 1st was supposed to be our first game, but we had to switch that around due to a high school regional game being played at our field. So June 2nd is our first game against Mohawk Valley.
At home? Away.
June 4th is our first home game. Can't remember who against though.
It's a Monday night.
It's a Sunday night game.
Or Sunday night game? Oh, cool. Sunday night game. There you go. Sunday night baseball.
Now, you've been around the team the past few seasons. How long does it take for a team that's built from around the country to get together and gel?
I think it's all to do with the coaching. That's
Really?
why the last few years and all that stuff, Colin Martin, our manager, and Richard Doobie, our pitching coaches, just put together, just great, good coaches to work for. So they
Right.
gel together. So
Now, do they work together in the regular collegiate season or no?
no.
But isn't there some kind of, aren't they family of some sort?
Rich Doobie, who's a former major league pitching coach, used to be Charlie Manuel,
Yeah.
pitching coach, and that's
Colin's father-in-law?
yes, stepfather.
Oh, stepfather.
Stepfather.
Oh, wow. I thought it was his father-in-law. I thought he was
No.
married. Oh, stepfather.
Stepfather.
Wow. Well, there's
That's
some royalty there,
Yeah,
Absolutely.
All right, so we're 20 days away. Baseball's coming into town. How do you feel your roster stacks up right now?
I like my team.
Yeah.
I really like my team a lot. A lot of kids are getting a lot of playing time, a lot of starters. I mean, there's some guys who get a little bit of playing time, and I got a few kids who didn't get any PT at all. But I got a lot of starters that are doing good.
Go ahead, man. You're the
Now-
stat guy.
As far as analytics go, I know it's huge in today's
I
game.
hate analytics.
Thank you.
It's ruined the game.
I believe so too. Whatever happened to managing on a hunch, or playing the percentage of the righties and
Exactly,
lefties? I mean, we talked before we had Jack McDowell on, and he felt the same exact way. When you're putting that roster together, are you using any analytics, or are you just going by kind of what you think you need and what you see?
Exactly, just what I need and what I see in their programs and stuff like that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What would you say is the biggest program you drew a player from?
This year, Kentucky.
Really?
Yeah.
I know we've seen some Miami before. We've seen, out west some
Yeah.
players, but it always seemed the first few years it seemed mostly east and maybe some southeast.
There was some schools that probably didn't want to deal with me. They're not dealing with Kevin anymore, so they didn't want to know, who the hell is Joe Quirk.
Right.
So, I'll get that back. But there's some schools that I told, hey, nothing's changing. We got the same. Everybody's coming back, and okay, we'll continue going on. So
And I think we'll find out, the proof's in the program. If the program continues to win, you're going to continue to bring in good players.
yes, exactly.
Yeah,
Winning
and
cures all ills. And on every level, we found that.
well, and it doesn't hurt. Like if I'm a college coach and I'm sending my pitcher to a former major league pitching coach,
Right.
I'm not. I want my kid to go there.
Right.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? That helps.
you would think that way helps.
Yeah. What happened last year? There was like some Shane Spencer kind of. He was there. He wasn't there. Him and Charlie Hayes, and then
Yeah, that was 2 years ago. I think.
or 2 years ago.
2
Yeah,
years
2 years ago.
21 season. Just other commitments they had to other things, so they really couldn't put the full commitment in the Saugerties.
But they would be up quite frequently.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, definitely Shane Spencer. He was here quite a bit.
yeah. Do you have all your seats sold behind home plate?
No, there's still some available. So
There's some available. Hmm.
Chris buys 2 every year. Is now Division I college? They're still using aluminum bats, right?
yeah.
But this is wood bat.
Right. How do you find them making the transition to wood?
It's a difference, definitely. You see a lot of kids adjusting to it. It takes a little bit when the season gets on to adjust to that wooden bat, definitely.
You see that all of a sudden that 379-foot home run is warning track power.
Yeah. Like I got a kid coming in from Georgia Southern. You love this guy. This guy's Corey Dowdell. He's 6'3", 306 pounds.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. If you go on YouTube and look him up and stuff like that, he hits freaking bombs, man. So he hits shots.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I have a request. It's not yet, and maybe in a year or two, if we're still in the same management situation, we need Big Al. Remember Big Al from the Little League thing a couple years ago? The kid from the Little League World Series a couple years.
Big Al, I hit
Yeah.
dingers.
Yeah, I'm Big Al and I hit diggers. We want him around. So a lot of people, if you're from Saugerties, you kind of get annoyed to a point that field is completely fenced off. What was your opinion before you started working in this capacity about that entire situation?
I liked it.
You
It's
did.
more of a field or ballpark to me. Yeah.
It does. But what do you say to people with like the small pavilion got sucked up just into that ball field?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm not lobbing you a softball here. I get it. And if you got to take a higher road, I get that too. But, like for years in football or whatever, we would use that for meetings and Little League and all these things. And now it's just gone.
Yeah.
How does that as a town taxpayer or whatever, how does that sit with you when, I don't know who arbitrarily makes that chore, just goes, yeah, it's part of the deal. That's, to me, that shouldn't be part of the.
I don't think it's part of the deal, to be honest with you. It's just, I think it looks like hell anyways. I mean, I think it should be torn down and redone over and stuff like that. I mean, it's one of the oldest things up there.
It is, but it was utilized, not just, you know what I mean? So that's like one of the questions. How, and I mean, now you'll have to face it as the GM and president of that. When people ask these questions, do you try to find them answers, or you're kind of like, it is the way it is right now? What do I do? You know what I mean? Because I know you work like security up there at nights and things like that, but there's a lot of questions, right? Like there was a big issue about the stable club a year ago.
Yeah.
So how do you combat that when people approach you?
We're like the same, talking about the stable club. What happens with the 50 guys underneath the large pavilion drinking beer, smoking pot after the softball games and stuff like that? Smoking cigarettes when they're not supposed to be doing that.
Right.
What's the difference with that? So.
Right. No, I completely agree with that. A lot of people were like, well, there's a beer concession down there. Why did they need one in center field too? I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
But at the same point, you don't necessarily buy a ticket to stand in center field.
No, you don't. No.
You don't. So, I don't know. It's one of those things like maybe you're not capitalizing on. It should be $5 up there or whatever. I know you're supposed to technically be a stable club member. Supposedly, but yeah. So and that's things that like you run into. People go, well, how'd they just get the stable club out there? How'd they just take over a large pavilion? And like, you do kind of question it. We used to have football meetings there, up there, or little league board meetings, or
Yeah,
which I'm sure you still could. But
you still could. Yeah.
so, do you guys quote unquote like lease the space out, or what is the situation there?
Really, the stable club and the beer garden is still going to be run by Kevin. So
Okay,
the town's not taking over any of that stuff. The town doesn't want to do anything with the beer.
Right.
Be allowed with the beer. So
which they probably shouldn't.
yeah.
So is that like a leased area then? Like how is that funded? Like because that would be that I know that's a tough question, but that would be that would be a townsperson's question. How is this town property being used for financial gain? Is it being leased or is it just being utilized?
It's being leased by he leases that from the town. So
Okay, so it's a leased property
Yes.
from the town. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I mean that makes sense.
The town sees money for it, so then
Well, yeah,
that's the answer.
Kevin put all the work into that place. He's the one that put on that deck. I know it's probably about $100,000 deck into it. And you guys were inside it last year.
Oh, it's gorgeous. We were up there. We watched some of the games.
Yeah, we've been up there a few times, and I agree with it. That's just the questions you get asked, right?
Yeah.
People say to you, "Well, how's that happen?" All right, well, we'll ask. It's an easy ask, You make sure that these things happen. So then, like same thing. You guys, Kevin put the clubhouse above the dugout there, right? So that's a Stallions thing. But you don't want to see other team. You don't want to see the varsity not play on that field, right?
Oh hell no.
You know what I mean? And that was like a misconception. A lot of people got. Like a lot of people, it seems like people that complain a lot are the ones that aren't around it a lot. I've never seen the varsity ever have a problem playing on that field.
No.
But you hear people say, "Well, the varsity's got to fight for time on a field."
Varsity's done with by the time the Stallions.
Yeah, Stallions start June 1st unless they're in the state title hunt regional.
Ulster County Community College. They didn't have a team this year, but last year that was their home field.
Right.
They practiced on Lorenz Field, and then they played their games on Cantine.
And listen, if Saugerties was in the position to be in a state baseball tournament, I'm sure the Stallions would be more than supportive.
We already got kicked off the field. Like I said, June 1st, we were supposed to open up, and it's a state regional high school baseball game, and the state didn't like how we played last year on June 1st. And when we came onto the field right after whoever won the championship, the state people didn't like that. So they said, "Can you please move it this year?"
Really?
So I changed the game. We're playing July 20th, I think it is, instead.
Oh, you just took another date where you were off or whatever.
That's in Glens Falls.
But I do like what you said before. It feels one of the stadiums. So if you're going to bring in a high school championship game of some level, these kids feel like they're playing somewhere now. It's just not the random baseball field in the middle of a complex. It is the premier baseball field in your complex.
Yes, definitely. With the big signs on the outfield fence too. It looks old school to me.
Yeah.
Like that.
Well, that's the thing. Cantine was always this beautiful complex, right? But it took it from like Highland said, a nice feel to like a stadium feel. Like where you want to kind of now you're inside of it and things are happening in this area as opposed to it's all open. You can stand wherever and do whatever.
Logistically, for the Stallions, what's the hardest thing? Is it the parking? Is it the traffic? I mean, what makes you pull your hair out sometimes? If you had any, because you got the same hair.
Right now, trying to find housing for the coaches. That's been Kevin owned a house up in Mount Marion area, and that's where all the coaches and the interns stayed. So this year we don't have that anymore, and trying to do Airbnbs. Fucking pain in the ass, man.
Right.
And money unbelievable.
Yeah.
So
fees.
That's the
biggest
fees.
That's
the biggest nut right now.
Yeah.
Is doing that. So
it'd probably be almost more beneficial to buy a house.
Yeah.
And rent it when you're not. You'd probably make the money you needed to rent
Airbnb it the rest of the year and then use it during the season.
Yeah, it really would though.
It would.
Well, you got to find, because Colin, he's married. He has his wife. He's got a brand newborn baby. Not even a month old yet. And then a pitching coach with his wife. That's an older couple. So you got to have separate housing for him and stuff like that.
Sounds like you need to buy a duplex.
But I was able to find some Airbnbs, so
Yeah, and then local, like in the town or
in the village. Yeah.
Oh, perfect! If they're in the village,
if that's a relationship you can establish now this year going forward, hopefully next year it's not so much an issue.
Yeah, no, I got it. That was, I didn't think it was going to be that tough to try to find things, but wow.
Yeah. Everybody wants top dollar up here.
Yes.
And that's what makes it hard.
Well, it became like a vacation zone. Right. So once it does that,
you're
going to drive the price up. A big point of contention last year was the July 4th game.
Oh, yeah.
You combated that a little bit this year. The game's going to start a little bit earlier, correct?
It's going to start, I think, 6:15.
Instead of, 7:05? Right, so you're getting like an hour earlier.
Yeah.
I get it. And I understand
the fireworks are still not going off until
10 p.m.
10 p.m.
Right, as opposed to the end of the last out or whatever it is.
Well, it all depended last year. I mean, if the game was over with at 9:30, then the game it was still going off at 10 o'clock. But things happen. So
yeah, well, and I mean, Jesus, people got eaten up for that. And in reality, you move it earlier or 6:05, whatever, an hour earlier. You shouldn't have it. Considering Major League Baseball's playing games in 2 hours and 25 minutes now, you shouldn't be playing a collegiate game for 4 hours.
We don't have the pitch clock yet. I think that's going to go into effect probably next year, but I hope. I do like the pitch clock, believe it or not. So
now, if people had a problem with last year, imagine if 4th of July in Saugerties was what it was when we were kids, and now you have that game. We're gridlocked for hours afterwards. The field was always jammed.
But they used to play like 1 o'clock, and
they would play at 1.
Yeah, and you would have the paratroopers come in with the ball and all that stuff,
which
is cool.
That was the best though back then.
Oh,
yeah,
nothing better.
So, this is more of a Cantine question. What did they do to the road in there? You can't get 2 cars by anymore.
I tell you what, there was a high school game being played today in the Little League game. I have no freaking idea what the hell. It's impossible to have 2 cars go down there.
Right, but it doesn't make sense to me because forever you could always get 2 cars. And now, I don't know.
The cars were bigger back in the 70s
and
80s.
Right. So it doesn't make sense. Like, maybe they just ran the pavement narrower than it used to be?
To me, it looks like it's still the same, but I agree 100% on that, man. It's
like I go through there and I'm like, holy shit, you got to wait. And you better really wait because you got to look, see if anybody's coming. There's no room to even move or else you're gridlocked.
Today, Highland was playing Wallkill for the championship. And then when the game got done with, I started leaving it. And then the school bus is coming down. You couldn't get through.
You're stuck.
So, yeah.
Who ended up winning that game?
Wallkill.
Really?
5-1.
It was like nothing to like the 5th, right?
They scored 3 runs. They had a kid from Wallkill had a 3-run homer in the top of the 7th to
put it away.
Yeah. Wallkill, they've got that stud pitcher.
2 of them.
Yeah, we got
Hermance.
Hermance is
well, I'm trying to get. I might try to get him, and we got another kid. He's only a junior though, to grow. I think he's committed to Stony Brook, and Hermance is Radford.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we got some local talent around here that's starting to go to big schools, which will help because you're here. What do you foresee being your biggest challenge this season?
I don't know, to be honest with you, man.
It's like a well-oiled machine. You're like, oh, this ain't too hard right now.
Just making sure the day-to-day operation is nice and smooth,
Now, do you have to take off from your regular job when this thing starts rolling in?
I've been off for like the past month and a half, because it's slow. But if I go back, I go back. But I could do both.
Yeah.
If I get home at 11 o'clock at night and wake up at 3:30 in the morning, it's okay.
Yeah, you sleep when you're dead, right?
Yeah.
Same thing you're going to have. Who does your transportations to all your games?
That's been a big thing, too. This year we're doing a hunter coach, and then I forget the other company, but using 2 different companies. So try to go with the cheapest one to each ballpark.
Right. Now, do you need a full-size bus to go up there?
Yeah.
You do, really?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you got 45 guys.
Yeah.
I was going to say when it's like 25, you probably get away with like a mid-size.
45 players, 4 coaches. Then you got your interns and announcers going up too. So.
Oh yeah, because you're running. Right now, even on away games, you're running a live commentary, right?
Yeah.
And who handles all your, like your social media and all that stuff?
Rob Vanderbeck's doing all that. He got announcers from Penn State, one announcer from Penn State, another announcer from Weber.
Oh, nice.
Casey DeSell, local kid's going to be filling in some stuff up there. Then we got a girl, Michaela Dodick, Rob Dodick's daughter, is going to be doing all our social media stuff. So
Good.
then we got another kid he's from Marlboro, goes to SUNY New Paltz. He's going to be doing our writing up for the newspapers and stuff like that. So
Who's your athletic trainer?
same one, Mills.
Mills?
Yeah.
Yep. Amy?
Yep.
Yeah. It's nice. I was trying to get Jern a job. She's away this summer. Go ahead.
No,
I see
I'm
your
just
brain.
thinking. I'm thinking. Around the league, who do you see being, top level teams that you're going to be playing this year? Who are you worried about?
Amsterdam's always a great organization. That guy gets good players every year from the top schools there is, so they're always a powerhouse. Mohawk Valley, they're always good too, and Albany too. So I think Saugerties is right up there with it. So
Definitely.
Did the league expand last year?
Yeah, 16 teams.
So it went to like 3 divisions instead of 2?
It's 2 divisions. Yeah.
Oh, it is 2?
East Division, like a West Division.
I thought one year
There was 3 divisions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like when you go out to Elmira or somewhere out there, that's got to be a long day.
Yeah, definitely. Jamestown,
Yeah.
Niagara now too. Niagara's got a team. So.
That's a long ways
Well,
away.
you've done Plattsburgh.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's a haul, but still, it could be worse, like you were saying. With the other league, the travel is even way longer than
Yes,
that.
definitely. You go to different states for that. Northwest League.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
that is a lot. Saugerties Stallions, they start June 4th?
June 2nd.
2nd.
Will be
4th is the first home game.
Yes.
You got, now, who are you using for all your swag? You got all swagged out here.
Yes. You get stuff from Dean Myers and then BSN from Fritz Kettler. He hooks us up also.
Oh, that's where Fritz is now?
Yes.
Or BSN? So what do? You just have a team store that they can buy right at the field?
No, the Stallions will buy the stuff and give it to all the players.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But I mean, you have a store right on
We got a
site.
pro shop, yeah.
Pro shop,
Yeah.
yeah. That's nice. That's
Yeah.
nice. You can go there, get a couple hats.
Yep.
Yeah, the parents that come visit their kids for the the summer, they'll buy their stuff. So
Now, how is that? How is it dealing with the parents? Like, what's the issue? Like, do you ever have an issue of trying to get parents in town or anything like that?
no issues and anything like that. We got one parent this year. I got a kid coming. Can't remember his name right now, but he's coming from Pepperdine, and he's a big Phillies fan. And you know all about our pitching coach, Rich Doobie. So since we know Rich Doobie won a World Series with the Phillies, so this kid, his father is ecstatic that Rich Doobie's going to be his pitching coach.
That's awesome.
See, that's recruitment
That's
right
the
there.
draw.
That's how you help
Yeah,
it.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So everything's good. You're just kind of hanging out, going, "Hey, this is easy right now."
Where do you see if you end up if you can stick with this long term, do you see this being like a 2-year, 3-year plan, or do you want to stay as long as you can?
I'll stay as long as I can.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Do you see the town keeping it the way it is currently?
I think if it's the town isn't using any taxpayers' money to support this team, then I think they'd be 100% behind it. Yeah.
Right. If it's funding itself, then why would you not? Because it's bringing that much more attention to the town, bringing people in
Yep.
to see it coming back.
Listen, the proof's in the crowd. You guys have a great crowd every home game.
Yeah.
It's
We're
got
gonna do
good
so
support.
every home game on a Tuesday is gonna be free admission night. I think Wednesday's gonna be $1 hot dog night. Doing some different things to try to promote the.
Were they your ideas?
They were not. No. Actually, the free. Terry Parisian is also on the board too. He came up with the free Tuesday night game.
Well, right. It's the random things like, hey, over the last 5 years, our low night has been Tuesday. You throw a free admission night,
Yeah.
get people in. The Afro's hot dog night, that night used to be crazy when he would pay all that for the free hot dogs.
Afro's night is a lot of people. I mean, that's really the last day of school. That's when he has his day there. So
Are you still doing the things where you do all the raffles for the senior class and all that?
still going to continue the senior night too. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And do you have like a Little League night or anything like that?
That's going to be Saugerties Little League night, June 4th for our first home.
First home game.
Yeah.
Do you ever have people still coming out, throwing out the first pitch and all that?
Yep. We got some surprises coming up. So.
Oh, boy.
Sweet. Yeah.
Big ones, little ones?
July 4th is going to be a nice one. So hopefully that works out.
Now, are you guys going to – do you still have uniforms? You're going to keep those American red, white, and blue ones, or are you going to get new ones?
Those are for 4th of July.
Oh, no, I know, but
yeah.
you're just keeping that same look.
Yeah.
And you'll be in the parade and all that stuff.
Yep, be in the parade. throwing out the candy to all the kids. So
And
Awesome.
now, were you a host parent?
I was a host parent when I was married.
Yeah. That's not why you're not anymore.
No.
How did you find that? Did you enjoy it?
Loved 100% of it. Kevin asked me, he was getting this kid, Luke Pedersen, from University of Minnesota. He said, I need you to house this guy. And I said, okay, I'll do it. He goes, whatever. He says, I know you're a great guy. He says, you got to house this guy. So I kept that from my wife until about a week before he showed up. And
he was a great kid. He was shortstop, blonde-haired kid.
Yep. Luke was the greatest. Got invited to his wedding out in Minnesota and still talk to him to this day.
And he has like a real estate company, right?
Yes.
I followed him like years ago on Instagram, and I'm like, and he's doing well,
He's doing very good in the real estate business out in Minnesota. But yeah, I mean, he wrote us a letter. We left. He was still there, and we left him stay in our house for like 5 days after we left because we were on vacation. He left us this letter and tearjerker, man. When he came home, saw that.
That's cool.
Then I met his coach. The following season, we went to go see him at Rutgers play, and I'm in the elevator with this guy, Pat Casey, and he said, hopefully we play tomorrow. I said, yeah, I hope so too, because I'm here to watch, Luke Pedersen. He goes, you're here to watch? Who are you? I said, I'm his host family from us. You guys came here to watch him? And I said, hell yeah. So
that's awesome.
yeah.
Now, what do you? There's a good question for you. What do you feel that these kids have that maybe not every athlete has? You know what I mean? Like you said, he's a good kid, writes you a letter. They don't mess around, right? If you screw up, you're on the bus back home.
Exactly. Yep.
And it seems like
that's happened before too, where coaches here at whatever, they were out partying and stuff like that, or they got a speeding ticket, send his ass home.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it seems like most of the kids, for the most part, they're here for what they're focused on, what they're here to do.
Yeah. They still like to have their fun.
Of course. You got to blow off some steam, but not, where you got cops coming down looking for them.
Have they been working while they're here too? Did they get jobs?
Some kids get jobs. Actually, last year, Jay Moore's of Little League hired like 3 kids to paint dugouts and stuff like that, and Hits did employ a couple kids too.
Cool.
Now, are you guys going to do the Stallions baseball camp again?
We are going to do it again this year, yeah.
And softball? Like I know they did baseball, softball. Or...
Yeah, if Colin wants to do that with the softball part, but it's coming back again this year to baseball camp.
And now do some of the players get involved in that too as well?
Yeah. We got to do community service stuff. This year we're off for the car show, Bob Sirksound's car show, so we'll have guys there that day. And then Hits has a marathon coming up too, and we'll have send kids there that day also.
Yeah. That's nice because, when you get the kids out into the community, it helps bring more attention back. In a dream scenario, obviously besides the championship, how does this season go?
My goal is to make the playoffs. Definitely make the playoffs and take it from there. And hopefully have big crowds at every home game.
Right. What's the next step for the Saugerties Stallions? Like, you come in and at first it was a non-Saugerties person, right? That had the team originally.
Yeah.
And
he was from South Carolina.
And one of the Whitaker boys was associated with it, and somehow
this guy came in here and he didn't know anybody, and I think Greg Chorvis mentioned Justin Whitaker, Joe, help this guy out, and he made him like assistant general manager, and then all of a sudden this guy Marty, whatever his name was, just left out of the blue, and here's a freshman in college trying to run a summer collegiate baseball team, and Justin did a great job.
Wow.
And then Kevin just picked it up.
Yep.
And said, we're going to keep it here. This is a good thing. Exactly. It could be a good thing. And then you move on. So you get that. Then the seats come in. You know what I mean? The stable club. What grows next? Like how do we get bigger? What comes better?
This is my goal. Okay. The Bruderhof community. Okay. Yep. Community playthings. Back in 2012, donated $500,000 to Deed Stadium to redo that turf.
Mm-hmm.
I would love for them to do something at Cantine Field. Put $500,000 into
lights for a football field. I don't care about Saugerties Stallions.
But they gave it to Deed Stadium.
Right. Well, I know we're on a Saugerties Stallions thing, but that's where there's a problem, right? Because when you approach to have
Cantine Field in general,
yeah, I know. Like, I just feel if we're ever going to have football lights in a football stadium, it's going to have to be at Cantine.
100% agree with you. It's not going to happen over at Saugerties High School. So
I don't see it happen. So, what do you foresee on the big field on Cantine? What's the next project? Like, what gets bigger? What gets better?
I'd like to get a bigger grandstand on the on the third base side.
Yeah,
I'd like to do something like that, or even a video scoreboard.
that is pretty cool.
Yeah,
We were
that's
having
where
a
a lot of other teams are doing
video
this past couple-
scoreboard.
Yeah,
Yeah, we played down in Fallsburg, and they have a grandstand that you can move with a forklift, and it's like
Stadium style.
stadium seating.
really?
It's awesome, and it's huge.
And
So-
comfortable.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
Super
yeah, like
comfortable.
like you could get two sections of that and put it where your seats are now, and then even move, the other one way
How
or the other.
recent was that? 'Cause when my daughter was cheerleading, I don't remember when we went to Fallsburg.
Well,
It was
they've been there since
the year we took
17
the
and
Outlaws.
18.
Yeah, definitely. Yep.
Oh, from the Outlaws.
Yeah.
team? Okay.
Even the SYFL
Yeah.
when we went, the first year, it's there. So yeah, it's a stadium style seating, and they
Yeah,
picked
my
it up with a
daughter-
forklift and they move it
My
wherever they
daughter
want.
cheerleaded you guys last year, the
Yeah.
SYFL.
Yeah, well, we went down there opening day and we never went back.
Okay.
It was in like a freezing cold rain in August. It was the weirdest thing, but yeah, we never went back that year. But that was the
You're
year we
right.
noticed
It
it.
was yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, that was the only game all year we had cold weather gear on,
That's true.
and it was the first game in August. Yeah, but yeah, that's where we saw them. And we're like, this is awesome. Why would we not, try to even like the Babe Ruth field? I mean, I know the Babe Ruth field's going down, but do you think there's a question for you just in general, Cantine? Do you think Cantine could utilize Lorenz Field a little bit better? So you have like two kind of.
I think it's utilized. I mean, at one time that was the field.
I
'cause
still like that field
Cantine-
better.
Cantine, it's got a better infield.
It
without
does.
a doubt, because it's less. Cantine's just utilized so much between the high school baseball, American Legion, Stallions.
Right.
And Ulster was there last year, but Lorenz got a better infield by far, I think.
Well, Lorenz is your baby.
Yeah.
Hey, what the big updates to Cantine were the mound and around the home plate, the clay. The mound is awesome at Cantine now. Like you never see the hole.
No.
There's none of that. And the same thing with the batter's box. You're not hitting uphill
No.
anymore. It's
Back
that's
in the days at Babe Ruth, when I used to see kids come in there just dig these big holes, and why the fuck you doing that?
right.
The worst thing and I was a shitty pitcher, believe me, but I remember trying to throw batting practice on the main field back in the day. The fucking backstop was so far back that trying to gauge where home plate was, it was.
I used to hate catching
it
on the
was
big field
terrible.
back then.
But now with the bleachers there, it's got to be much better visually for the pitcher.
Yeah, definitely.
That was horrible.
Yeah, Cantine back in the day.
Yeah.
That was ginormous.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah.
It's Oakland A's Coliseum.
Yes, absolutely, totally.
Yeah, and the batters, the whole area was shit. It had like a sandy base down there, and a huge hole in the mound. And now it's like nice clay and all set up. So you'd like to see the next improvement would be some kind of newer grandstand.
Grandstand or video scoreboard. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the score. Where would you put it? Right in the same location
Same
that it is.
location, yeah. I want to get
That brings in
Get
good
a
money
new
too, because now you can
video
bring more
scoreboard,
advertising.
and then take that scoreboard and put it over in the Babe Ruth field.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
That scoreboard in the Babe Ruth field, I think, is 1991.
Yeah,
If I'm
I played in the first ever night game on the Babe Ruth field.
really,
Yeah, and history lesson. Don Baker charged the mound that night.
probably not the only time either.
No, that was the only time.
If I'm Joe Q citizen in the town of Saugerties and I'm on the fence about coming out to see the Stallions, sell me.
Come on out to the game. You're gonna have a good time. It's fun. Seeing the kids just interact with these Stallion players. They're like major league ball players to these kids. Kids love these guys, and you're gonna have a good time coming out to the game. I guarantee it. So,
Do we have any former Stallions in any major league systems right now?
there are some, yeah. Cool.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. How do you sell baseball? Right, it's baseball, but you got to bring it where you feel part of the crowd, and you do that with games between each inning. The sack races, the relays, the K-man. The K-man's a huge thing.
Right. That's where
The
that's
2
where
for 1. That's a big
Yes.
thing.
I think Kevin coming up to this season now. You taking over that atmosphere is what's bringing people in. It really does seem like, at the very least, minor league baseball, but it does have a big league feel to it. So that it is a really good environment.
Kevin did great with that stuff. I mean, all his ideas, he just put into it, and he ran with it. So
Yeah, the big thing is you want to be the place to be
That's
on
it. Yep.
Tuesday night, Friday night, whatever. You want to be. You want your kid haunting. You want their kids haunting them. We got to go to the game. We got to go to the game, and you're doing a good job of that.
yeah,
Especially there's a lot of feedback for kids and things of that nature.
Like doing the thing for the senior night at the high school, and Kevin and Renee just gave out so much to the high school kids. Having raffles. Who wins a television? Bring to the college dorm, iPods and stuff like that.
Yeah, and with you guys continuing it, it only just helps build the culture of the Saugerties Stallions.
It's gonna be tough to try to fill him and Renee's shoes, but because they did such a great job. But hopefully, I can keep up with their stuff.
Now, do you have a new uniform for this year, or
same stuff?
Same stuff.
Yeah,
I thought
that's
maybe
big bucks. That's big bucks.
Listen, it's a look that's coming off some winning seasons. Stick with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's white at home, right?
White at home and like a dark gray on the road. Yeah.
And then does your hat stay the same home and away?
Hats change.
So
this is a home hat, and then the away hat is like black in the back and like a Vegas gold in the front.
That's the one Winnie needs. Winnie has that one already.
I have like a white and gray one. It's like a black brim with a gray back and a white front.
Yeah, like just like a pro shop type of hat.
Yeah. But I have that one too.
Yeah.
That's been in a music video, right? Like a country music guy had that on backwards. There's been some pretty famous guy. Yeah, his girlfriend's famous. Like is Amanda Seyfried?
Oh, Kevin and Renee are friends with them. Yeah, he might have been in a movie or something.
And he had a hat. He had the hat on backwards.
That's cool.
Okay. Yeah, they live local and stuff like that, and Kevin and Renee became good friends with them.
Yeah,
like they would tweet out when they're at Stallion games and stuff like that. So
yeah, and then last year, the year before, the LSU girl was there. Yeah,
we had her boyfriend on the Stallions. Now she's ginormous, man.
Yeah,
but she showed up to the park, and I didn't know idea who she was. My daughter says, "Oh my God, that's Libby, whatever her name is."
I know my son knew her.
Boston had no problem taking pictures with anybody.
He sure did not. He was right in there taking pictures.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You don't know who's going to show up to a park. Look, we just named famous people or kids in the TikTok world or whatever that come to these games. Do you have any? Who do you think would be the big draw of your group this year?
Player-wise,
yeah, player-wise, the big fella.
I'm down with that.
He's on social media type stuff, so I think some other baseball players local. When this guy find out, he's playing, let's come up here and see him hit some bombs. So, probably Corey Del.
I smell future guest.
Yeah,
definitely.
Now, how are you going to promote? Like, what are you doing to promote this season? Because, like in years past, it would be. You'd be all over like social media. You couldn't get away from, hey, we saw this guy, we drew this guy in, we did that. But so far, like I even went back like on a Facebook page. I'm like, oh, it's really it's
quiet.
It's kind of chill right now. What's going on? Like, are you just gearing up quietly for the season, or are you going to make a campaign?
I don't want my roster to be out there. I don't like that the guys in charge of the roster are the general manager of Albany, and then the owner of Amsterdam. So I can't see their roster, but then they can see my roster.
Right, and then they can pull.
They could try to do that. It's happened before in the past, where all of a sudden we lose kids before the beginning of the season. So, I'm supposed to have my roster into the league already, but fuck them. That's bullshit. Why should they see my roster and I can't see their roster?
Right, two of the premier teams in the league, and they can see everybody's roster and know what you're doing
later on.
Yeah. Well, they've pillaged other people's rosters in the past, and that's not right. I mean, like it should be what it is.
Yep.
Now, can a player? Here's a question: can a player say you got like a really good pitcher and the Cape Cod League sends for him? Can that happen?
I would tell the kid
you got to go.
You got to go to Cape Cod.
Yeah. But like, can that happen? Like, is that feasible? Is that
He's already got a contract signed with us. I mean, for the Cape Cod to call them up, I mean, they should have contracts already signed with the Cape Cod before they would have signed a contract with me. So
yeah.
But all these kids sign contracts, so they're technically got to come and play for me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because I mean, like, well, we've been in Cape Cod about midway through the season. You see, like, oh, this guy got drafted, and that guy got drafted, and next thing you know, they're like reaching out to other kids to come in and backfill the roster.
yeah, they do it constantly all summer long. They got kids coming in at all different times.
Yeah.
So.
We sat in the stands one night, and the lady goes, "Hey, you're gonna want to get the catcher's autograph after the game." I go, "Why is that?" She goes, "Because she leaves for the Red Sox tomorrow."
Oh, yeah.
We're like, "What?" They're like, "Yeah,
Well,
the Red Sox are taking them tomorrow."
after the Hyannis game, shooting the shit with the outfielders, ended up being Mike Yastrzemski.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Giants.
Yep.
Yeah, and then Rudiger.
Dan Rudiger's Rudy Rudiger's nephew was another outfielder on the team.
Really?
Yeah, like the people you just walk into and you're talking to, and then they just disappear.
I'll tell you, the impressive sights for just being a baseball fan, standing behind home plate and seeing 13 guys with radar guns.
Now, do you guys have a night like that, like scout night or anything like that?
No scout night. But some scouts do come to our games and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's nothing like the Cape Cod League, but there'll be a couple there maybe a night.
Yeah, and when you rank like I always say that PGCBO, where does that fall? Like, what do you think in like the upper, like if there was A, B, C league, it's like in the B tier?
I say the B tier. Yeah, definitely.
So you get players that come out of there kind of frequently, but it's not, you're not getting the number one pitcher from Texas to come in.
No, we're not getting nothing like that. No, definitely not.
Go ahead, Winnie. I see you're nothing at all.
No, Adley's not coming to Saugerties. Damn it.
Yeah, he always gets on these.
Adley Rushman Mark. So
yeah,
the kid's a beast. But it was funny, again, watching college players, stuff on YouTube, watching college kids that have been using metal bats all year long, stroking the ball, and then you put that wooden bat in their hand, and like, ooh, what's this? It's foreign to them almost.
Yes, exactly.
Do you guys have a contract with a wooden bat company?
No. A lot of kids bring their own lumber.
Really?
I'll go out. I'll buy 6 to 8 bats, composite wood bats, so they really don't break.
Right.
And the kids usually bring their own stuff in. It's too tough to, one kid might want to swing a maple type of bat.
Right. Yeah. What how many baseballs you go through in a night?
I would try to say close to 3 dozen baseballs.
Damn,
wow.
That's an expense.
Yeah, it's expense.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, well, you guys get the balls back though, right?
For
the most, I mean, you're supposed to.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, like that's 3 dozen baseballs a night times how many home games you got for
23 home games. So.
Yeah. Whew.
Yeah, that's a chunk right there.
And what's it for about a case of balls right now?
I don't even know, to be honest. I just order them and I don't look. So
now, who do you order them and they come stamped with all your stuff, or you guys stamp them yourself with your logo?
They're not stamping them anymore.
No,
they used to do that, but it's just more of expense so bypass that.
Yeah, man, come on, Base, you got to stamp the ball. So you got to know you got a Stallions ball.
I saw some other leagues, some other teams like. They'll say, hey, like Sawyer Motors will pay for them, so they put a Sawyer Motors stamp on them. So Mohawk Valley does that. That's an idea for maybe next year.
Yeah. You have somebody sponsor the balls specifically.
Yeah.
And then take that over, yeah.
Yeah. We tried that with Afros with mouthpieces for football, and he's like, I'm like, dude, it's 12-year-old kids. Everybody's going to need, and it's a mouthpiece.
Yeah.
If you're getting braces, it's already on your mouthpiece. It would make sense, right?
Yep.
Just got to market it the right way. So you have daughters. How does that work with baseball?
They love it. They love being my oldest one, Lorna, and McKenna, my youngest one. They're like me. They love being up at Cantine Field. So
they like being at the games and all that.
Being at the games.
Now Lorna plays lacrosse, though, right? She doesn't play softball.
No, lacrosse, and they both play lacrosse. And they're both big into gymnastics.
Yeah, that gymnastics.
So what grades now?
My oldest one's in 8th grade. My youngest one's in 6th. I started late.
Now, do you think either will play the girls' flag football?
She's thinking about it. Yeah,
it's cool.
They're doing very well.
Yep.
They won today, 40-6.
Really?
Yeah, they beat Highland today, 46.
There's only one loss.
No, they got their second one to
to
Minnesink the other night, but it's because everybody went to. They had nobody. They went to the softball game and their best players weren't there.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you lose
like most of the girls are all two-sport athletes.
Yeah.
Whether it's track,
So,
lacrosse.
but I think it was Kingston told their girls, no, you play football, that's it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they made it like it's your own sport. But like the Saugerties Flag Football League, if they have any sense right now, they would jump on this and have just a girls' flag league because how much success you
Yeah,
have.
it's a new feeder
Now you're
program.
kind of feeding
Yeah.
the girls' spring flag league,
And they're playing their. Charlie showed me they're playing their championships or
at MetLife
at
Stadium.
MetLife Stadium. Yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's pretty cool. It's
That is
a
cool.
lot of things going on.
I mean, the girls are getting shafted over there. They're playing on the.
On the back practice
Yeah.
field,
Oh
yeah.
my God,
Why
Yeah.
not on the high school field?
Yeah. I just
that's ankle sprain stadium right there.
that's another night when Base, the Saugerties resident, comes on and talks, not the GM of the Stallions, because
That's right.
that's a mess over there. But so you work for Cantine, you do security at night.
Yeah.
What's your biggest challenge you're seeing there right now?
The young kids.
Yeah,
They're being a pain in the ass.
like we were all goofy, we ran around and messed around, but
I think the difference is back then we were at the field because we were playing all these sports, and now you see enrollment down in every league, but their kids still hanging out. So
Kids just hanging out. Let's go to the large pavilion. Smoke.
I don't mind getting in trouble, man. That's where you hate seeing numbers drop like that.
well, idle hands are the devil's playthings,
That's
right?
it.
So
Yeah.
it's tough.
Do you think that the Stallions developing this good baseball culture in town can help bring back the Little League culture and the Babe Ruth culture?
I would hope so. Yeah, I would think so. But I mean, I don't think it really has done that yet. But let's hope so.
Yeah, I think everything is not. It's not going to be overnight. It could be a 3 or 4 or 5 year plan and get it up there. But if it's the place to be and it's a sport to be playing at that time of year, hopefully it gets the kids back out there.
Agreed.
Yeah. I mean, you hope to see it turn back around because
I think it goes. I think the other side of that too is, shit. Gladys Hutton was Saugerties Little League for how many years?
Yep,
Decades.
Yep.
right, you didn't have the turnover consistently
Right,
like
and I
that.
think
You
that-
guys had Babe Ruth,
Yep.
so
That
you
has a lot to
had
do with it.
right, and now you get people that are in there for the 2-3 years their kids are there, and then they're out, and then it's another. So it's a constant turnover, and that's hard to manage.
This year at Babe Ruth, Pat Caffrey's looking for another coach and can't find another coach.
Nobody will coach, and now it's like 16, 17 kids on a
17
team.
kids on a roster, man.
Wow.
Yeah, how do you do that? You're gonna replace pretty much your whole team.
Yeah.
You're gonna pull them off, put them on. I said,
You think some father would step up, and
nope. Yeah, I know. A buddy of mine was like, Bill Scala, actually, has no kids. He's older.
Yeah.
He's like, they asked me, he goes, George, the biggest problem is, how am I going to throw a ball and hit? He goes, my shoulders are, I'm only 60 years old. He goes, but I want to see these guys, have more teams.
exactly, yeah.
There's 2 Kingston teams and 3 Saugerties teams, but it's also combined with Catskill, from what I understand.
There's some Catskill kids that come down.
Yeah.
Yep. I think there's 4 Kingston teams, believe it or not.
Oh, really? So
Yeah.
there will be 8 teams in the league, or 7 teams in the league? That'd be good.
Yeah.
But like Boston plays Chase from Oniora comes down and plays in one of the Kingston leagues. So they must have boundaries. But you remember, I mean, Kingston used to have its own Babe Ruth, Catskill, Oniora, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now we're down to
Two
They-
Babe Ruth teams. That's it.
yeah. Even Rondout comes over and plays in Kingston. Yeah.
Well, before we wrap everything up, let's tell everybody where we can find the Stallions info on social media.
We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. Everything, man.
And their own website too?
Yes. Yep.
Is it SaugertiesStallions.com or
SaugertiesStallions.com. Yeah.
And then all your games will broadcast on YouTube again.
YouTube again. Yep.
That's awesome. So
Yes.
if you can't make it and you can get on YouTube, you follow Saugerties Stallions Baseball on YouTube and you'll get the games live.
Yeah.
And now, will that be the away games too, or no?
Away games, home and away games. Yep.
Video and
Yeah.
both.
Video.
Wow.
Have you been able to monetize YouTube?
Yeah.
Good.
Yep.
That's
Definitely. Because the parents, kids coming from Florida or Texas,
Right.
they get to watch their son and all that stuff. So
No, well, that's it. That might be the draw.
good. Right.
If I can watch every game,
that's where Kevin started this. 4 or 5 years ago with doing the YouTube and stuff like that, and every other team has just picked up on it too now. So.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot easier now. Like, 20 years ago or 5 years ago, even we would have had 8,000 cameras in here and wires, and now it's like
Two little cameras.
two
we
little
got them
cameras, and
all.
we're sitting here. Yeah.
And I think it's part of if we want to get the youth back involved, we've got to bring it back to the outlets that they're used to, which is your YouTube, your Twitch, your Patreons, the stuff that they're watching every day.
Yeah,
Right.
So if you can get on YouTube, they come across it.
You guys have a TikTok?
we do got TikTok.
Oh,
There it is.
Yeah.
Here we go. Base will be
Instagram.
dancing on the TikTok now.
And this girl that we're coming in doing our social media, she's actually social media at Clemson. She actually works for the football team there out there, does social media for the football team, and
Perfect.
she's ready to come in and just take us to a whole new level. So
Good.
That's awesome.
hopefully I'm gonna do so like a Coach Prime, Let's bring us to a whole
There
new
we go.
level.
Yeah. Nice. You got anything else, Winnie?
Because Buffalo football,
Yeah.
Colorado football is just unbelievable now with social media.
100%. Yeah. They showed the year before last year's spring game and this year's. Last year's was like 30 people in the stands. This year it's sold out.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Prime.
Time will
Yeah,
tell.
GM Prime.
Yeah.
So
No, base.
he's very basic, but he's getting it done.
Yep.
Let's hope so.
All right.
We'll have to bring you back on after the championship run.
Definitely, man. Definitely.
Damn
And we're gonna have a podcast too. So our guys, our announcers, you guys come on that too. And
We'd love
have
to,
a nice time with
absolutely.
you.
Great.
Cool. And when's that start? Do you have a start date for that?
Now, when the kid gets here, he does at Weber University. He does his own podcast down there. So when he comes up here, he wants to continue it. So
Good.
Yeah.
Love
Sounds
to
awesome.
Bring him in the studio and
Yeah.
home and home. There we go.
sounds good.
There you go. All right, buddy. Take us home.
All right, for Base and GMAC, this is Winnie. This has been the Outlaw Blitz interview podcast. And as always,